Hello everybody, and welcome to my review of the Apple iPad mini, which is the 7.9-inch version of the insanely popular Apple tablet. Right here I have it with a smart cover and a Poetic thin shell back, but I'll get into those cases later. Right now, let's skip to the specs. The iPad mini has a 1024 by 768 high-resolution IPS backlit display. That is 7.9 inches. It has the new lightning connector and dual stereo speakers, which sound absolutely great. It has a 5 megapixel iSight camera for shooting excellent photos. It has the volume up and volume down button, 2 instead of the locker found on the 9.7 inch version of the iPad. It has the mute switch, and it has a 1.2 megapixel HD FaceTime camera on the front for clear FaceTime calling that shoots 720p HD video, and this guy as well shoots 180p HD video. Getting more into the design, I will open this guy out here and show you some main design features. First, I'll take this off so I'll get into this more cover later. Just got it and put it on there. It looks very good, but I'll tell you about that later. Got the scratching on the screen. If you notice it, that's just because I have a screen protector, and that could scratch easily. So it's not that the screen scratches easily. We have our microphone here. So I forgot to point out in the spec. And then the headphone port too, the standard Apple headphone port and power. Nothing else on the left side except the area where that smart cover cleanly snaps onto it. But going into design, it's extremely thin. Like iPod Touch thin. I mean, you can see it's just super thin. It feels great in the hands. It's extremely light. It just feels like a pad of paper, as Apple says. It really does feel like a pad of paper. It's just so light. Just that's the biggest selling feature. It's just so light. You can throw it in your bag, put it in the pants of your pocket of your cargo pants. It feels great to hold, especially in one hand, like this, or like this is Apple commonly markets it. You can hold it like this and easily do stuff with your other hand, or even hold it like this and do some finger scrolling on reading or looking at some web pages or doing a magazine or whatever else that may require scrolling. I mean, you can use it more like a phone in that sense, because the bigger iPad you can never ever do that. It was just too heavy and big. It's got a different design than the full-size iPad, more like the iPod Touch. As I said before, it's got this nice aluminum kind of edging right here that's different than the full-size iPad. Thinner bezels and more rounded corners. Comes in the same colors, except that the back is not like the full-size iPad, more like the iPod Touch and iPhone 5. Again, more resemblance. Apple is leaning towards that, it looks like. And we got the shiny Apple logo that looks like more like an exposed metal, as well as on the iPad logo. And then we have some just some like a matte finish that actually feels really good in the hands. Of course, the reason it's so reflective is because I have a thin shell back case made by Poetic, which works absolutely great. You can pick it up for around $8 on Amazon. It snaps on there, protects from scratches, provides light drop protection, works great. So now let me turn around and show you some of the basic features and some of the things that work absolutely excellent on it with iOS 6.1.3. So, going into our user experience here, we have the classic lock screen. And it's pretty easy to do on just like the normal iPad, just swipe through, and it's really easy. You can also, pretty sure you can do that one-handed. With a little difficulty, you can manage. Of course, it was impossible to do on a full-size iPad. And then here we have home screen. Icon sizes are bigger than the iPod Touch or iPhone, but they are smaller than the iPad. Now, looking from a distance, it looks absolutely great. It looks, I know this sounds like an exaggeration, but it looks like a retina display. I mean, you can't tell the difference between it and a retina display. As you start to bring it closer, you can notice a little bit of pixelation, stuff like that. Sorry, the camera is really not good. I'm using an iPad Touch 4 for this, so you can't really see the pixel detail, and I don't have a retina display for comparison, but I can say that it works excellent, and it just works great. The text is sharper than it would be on a iPad 2, because it's in a smaller space. It's a 9.7 inch screen crammed into a 7.9 inch form factor, so it still looks great. And the biggest thing here is just the fact that you're not like going to be staring at the pixels. You're not going to be like holding it up to your face and trying to distinguish individual pixels. It's not like that. It works absolutely great holding it at a normal distance, even when reading. It's perfect. It's just you can see the detail in images. Photos look absolutely great. The app icons look excellent, and you can really just view it without any difficulty. It looks great. And the reason I draw so much attention to this is because I know this is the most important feature. It's an HD display. It's not a retina display. It's a 124x768, and for Apple, that just seems like a step back. But the thing is that it's really marketed as a highly portable tablet, and something that's really thin and light. And the reason that they didn't do a retina display, I think, is that because, well, first of all, because it's a great feature for a second gen. It's a great seller, but also it really would add quite a bit of bulk, as we saw with the iPad 3. It was significantly thicker and heavier than the iPad 2, and so it really makes a lot of difference at a retina display. And for me, for this perfect weight and extreme thinness, I can handle a non-retina display. And in fact, I'm just going through the transition seamlessly, because I actually switched from an iPad 3. I had an iPad 3 with 16 gigabytes, and I chose to switch to the iPad mini with 32 gigabytes, first of all, because I needed more storage, and second of all, because it works better as a camera, which I will get into later. But not having the retina display was something that was really bothering me. I was like, will I be able to handle that? But really, I can definitely say that I can. The only time it's noticeable is when you look at really small text, and it's a little tiny bit fuzzy. But you don't look at small text that often. When you look at photos, they still look vibrant and sharp and crisp, and the color is extremely accurate, and you still have that Apple quality of the display. It's just not extremely high res, and I think that extreme high resolution is almost just like a little. I mean, yes, I know it looks great, but if you don't want the extra weight, it just really isn't worth it, because unless you're doing a ton of like heavy photo editing or anything or stuff like that, or absolutely need that bigger screen. This iPad is great, man. It's not just because it's a portable. It's 7.9 inches, so it's not 7 inches, and the form factor is just great. It's just something you can pick up, you can hold, you can bring it anywhere with you, but yet you can use it easily at home. And I think that since the iPad is not really a laptop replacement, you can do everything on here that you can do on a full-size iPad. I really think that this is the best iPad, because if you have a MacBook or a PC or any type of laptop, or a desktop even, you really don't need to replace anything, because you already have your laptop. So what, you don't need to replace it. You don't need to have a laptop in something that's close to replacing your laptop. And because the iPad really doesn't replace a laptop for many things, there's just things that the iPad can't do, even though it can do so many things. It's just a PC or a Mac really just excels at some things that the iPad doesn't excel at very well. And if you don't need the full-size iPad to replace your PC or Mac, then really the iPad mini is the best iPad to choose, because already it can't really replace a laptop. And if you don't need that extra screen real estate, it just works great, because tablets are meant to be picked up and easily used and brought anywhere. And this is what the iPad mini really excels at, because the iPad is just, look, it's a little heavy. It's heavy to hold in bed or on the couch. You have to hold it with two hands. It's heavy to carry around. You can't just bring it anywhere with you, even though you can. It's a little bit harder, and it just the iPad mini really excels at all of these things, and it's just something that you want to take with you everywhere, because it's so thin, it's so light, and it follows you. You just want to do stuff with it, because it's so perfect at doing everything. So moving on to features, the camera, as I said before, the camera was one of the main reasons, because it's much easier to hold a camera like this with one hand and snap a quick picture, rather than doing it with a full-size iPad, of course, or you already look strange enough taking a picture with a full-size iPad. This looks excellent. It's a big viewfinder, much bigger than you'd find on an iPhone or an average digital camera, and it's much easier to take pictures. You can hold it with one hand. If you hold it like this, you can take pictures or in portrait mode, or you can take videos. And it, with 32 gigabytes of storage, if you choose that option, you can store tons of pictures, and you can hold it, and it's easy to bring anywhere as a camera. The thing that works great as is as a movie player. Playing movies is absolutely wonderful on it. Of course, you have to deal with letterboxing, but it's nothing unbearable. And it's great to bring around anywhere and watch a movie, and just do some excellent fun stuff with it. It's really fun to do that. For playing games that require virtual controls, like Minecraft, it's excellent. It's better than a full-size iPad because you don't have to stretch your thumbs to try to reach around. You can just easily access all the controls, and it's right there. It's excellent. And any apps that work with a full-size iPad work with the iPad mini, and that's another thing that makes it excellent. It works just like a full-size iPad, as Apple says. It's every inch an iPad. But it's so much thinner and lighter. Even though you don't have that retina display, it really doesn't make too much of a difference. Now the price, I'm not even going to go into comparing to it to other competitors, because this is the only type of I would choose. I feel that this is just you're paying for the excellent design and the premium and the selection of apps. It's just, it makes sense to spend that kind of money to me. Maybe for you, if you're trying to save money, I'd probably go with something else, but right now I'm just going to focus on the Apple price, just within the Apple ecosystem. It's a lot lower priced than the full-size iPad, and if you're looking to save money, this is a great iPad, because for me, I think this is the best iPad, and I know a lot of other people agree. I think it's worth switching for. Even if you love that Retina display, it is easy to get used to it, to doing stuff on this beautiful display, because it still is very beautiful. It's a great high-quality Apple display, and you can do everything that you can as a full-size iPad, and you can carry it around everywhere. You can hold it. It's much easier to hold, and it's thinner and lighter, and you can just do so much more with it. And I think that really is the major selling point, and I think it is well worth it to sell any of your older iPad, especially if you have an iPad 2 or iPad 1, is so much more worth it to do this. And I highly recommend selling your full-size iPad to get them in, because I think it really is the perfect iPad experience. Not that the full-size iPad isn't fun or isn't good, I really feel like this is the best iPad that I have ever used. It works great. Now, getting into the smart cover, I already showed you the smart cover compatible case. And this thing is cute, just as perfect as the full-size iPad smart cover. It has 3 hinges instead of 4, and it folds over like this and attaches magnetically to the other side. And you can prop it up like that for a keyboard stand, which isn't as ideal because the keyboard is a little bit smaller, but it still works excellent. But mainly, I think the appeal is using it as a thing for viewing photos or web pages or movies. It works excellent for that. Let me get this up there with the magnet. Boom. And there we go. We can use it perfectly for scrolling through our home screens, or watching movies, or flipping through web pages, or a photo slideshow, the photo frame feature. It works perfect for that. And it's nice just to have a little extra protection on the screen. If you were to drop it like this, it probably wouldn't crack the screen, because you have extra protection here, and you have complete cover protection. And also the microfiber lining is the same, and it covers it and cleans the screen too. So that's a nice feature to have, and it is all fabric. There must be metal in there somewhere, but it's completely covered by the fabric, which makes it a little nicer, because there's no like twisty hinge or anything. Like it is on the full one. It just attaches seamlessly like that, and of course you can always pull it away, which I love that feature of them. You can use them when you want them, but if you don't want them, you just flip them away in a drawer or whatever. And this is a nice compact package. You can hold it easily, throw it in your bag just as easily, or if you want to leave it for home, pull it off. It actually has a good grip, which is good. It won't fall off, and it's extremely lightweight, just like the mini. And you can toss it anywhere if you're not using it. So that is a great selling feature, that they still have the smart cover. No smart case, because I really don't think the smart cases are that good, and I think Apple knows that. Which I'm actually glad they don't have the smart case, because they added to the bezels, and they added a lot of just awkwardness to the iPad. It made it even harder. It made it just harder to use. It already had a heavy form factor. For me, the iPad 3 had a heavy form factor, but when I put the smart case on it, it was really, like, just awkward, because it made the bezels bigger and stuff, and the flap always got annoying. I always wanted to take it off, so the smart cover fit me perfectly. So I'm glad that they continued to design a smart cover on the iPad mini, and I'm sure that the smart case didn't make it because they probably weren't selling too many of those for the full-size iPad. Also, the lightning dock I like a lot, but I know a lot of you don't like it because of the compatibility issue with accessories, but I still think it works great. It's easier because you can do it reversibly. You can plug it this way, whichever way, and it seems like it's just less prone to scratching, because sometimes the 30-pin dock connector just got a lot of scratches around the port. It seems like it connects a lot easier, and it kind of is just a way of Apple's kind of just trying to make charging a little easier, even though it's a little frustrating. So overall, my impressions of the iPad mini, it's a perfect tablet. It's everything the iPad is and more, because it's thinner, lighter, and more portable. Even though the iPad has a retina display and the iPad mini does not, it is such a worthy trade-off when you consider the thinness and the lightness and the portability and just overall just awesomeness of this. I know it sounds lame, but it's the overall coolness of this product. It's so nice to carry around anywhere and to take with you. It's so thin, it's so light, it's easy for reading, especially if you make the text size larger. You're not going to notice the retina display at all. It looks beautiful for iBooks. You can hold it in one hand lightly, just like you would a average e-reader, and you can sit there and read and hold it in one hand and just read and flip through and stuff like that. It's absolutely beautiful to be able to do that. I love doing it. And just doing that is so wonderful, and you can just flip through your books, and it's wonderful to do that. I just love doing it. For reading and everything, it's perfect. Even though that retina display, you don't have it, all the other features are so much more worth it. They just make it so much more worth it. So that's my review of the iPad mini. Be sure to check out my other full-size iPad review if you are considering that. But I do highly recommend this over any iPad, any full-size iPad, especially the iPad 1 and 2, because of the lack of retina display. Even if you love a retina display, I mean, this thing is really hard to pass up and to put down. It's thin, light, portable, and that is something that can't be said of the iPad 3. Of course, some of you love that HD display and just can't draw yourself away from it as a feature, which I do understand. But for me, and I think for most people, the iPad mini is well worth not having the retina display. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.